Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Yarns with Andy. Today I've got Samuel Christopher Newell.
The full name. I love
Full
that.
name. Love it?
I like that.
You like that?
Yeah, it's good.
Yo.
It's good.
He's the founder and managing director of Build Interiors.
Yeah.
Right? Welcome, mate.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Nah, thank you for making the time for being here.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So originally I'm from back in England. I moved here, 16 years ago now. Kicked off my career in construction 7 years ago, and then launched Build in February this year.
February last year, you mean?
Sorry, February last year, 2023. Yeah.
So it's been exactly a year since you've launched.
Yeah, exactly
Build
1
Interiors.
year. So it's crazy, man. It's been a busy year, and yeah, looking forward to doing another.
Okay, cool. That's exciting. Sam, what's been your biggest learnings from being in business for a year now? Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet it's been up and down, and it's been rocky. Must have been a rocky year. I mean, I started my own business, so I get that.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's been a journey, right? Like there's a few things, like sort of thinking about like what really came to me that I not naive, but I just didn't realize how hard they were going to be, right? Like the biggest one, I think, and one of the first that I clued onto real quickly was like, you know, everyone says like most businesses go under in the first 2 years, right? What I realized quickly is the reason that these go under is not because someone has a bad idea, but they don't have the grit or the will. It's hard, man.
Tell me about it. I know.
You know what I mean?
So how old are you?
I'm 27.
So you're 27 and you've launched a successful construction company doing interior fit outs.
So I was 26 and my son was 2 months old when I launched my fit out company, which was crazy, right? Like, no
Fuck, that's insane.
Yeah.
Well done, bro.
Thanks, bro.
Good on
Appreciate
you,
it, man.
Well done.
But 100%, like I realized quickly that will and having grit was going to be what had to see you through, not only in the construction industry, which is where you definitely need it, but just generally to be in business, you need to want it. Like, and if you don't want it and you don't love what you do, no matter what it is, it's not going to succeed.
I agree, man. 100% agree.
100%. And then the next thing is, like, I sort of understood that I was in a business where we had to sell a product, right? We're in a service industry, but being the managing director, your role really becomes BD, right? Like, you're business development. You are your own brand. Everything I do, I represent Build. Everything I want to achieve comes back to Build. It consumes you. It becomes your world. You need to promote it. You need to love it. You need to be the voice and grow it, really.
So that's interesting. That's fascinating. And you've done that all at 26. And let me get that straight. You quit a full-time job to start a company.
Yeah, man. So I'll give you the background, right? Like, so
Bro, you've got some balls, eh?
I've got some balls. I'm crazy, but yeah, I've got some balls. So my background, getting into construction, man, like 7 years ago, like it was a wild story. I dropped out of uni. That's right. I dropped out of uni. I was studying business, moved back home, and my stepdad was like, "Hey, mate, what shoe size are you?" Took me for a drive, went down the road, and he's like, he came back, took me for a drive with him after he'd gone, came back, we went off, and then he goes, "Hey, man, look in the back seat." I look in the back seat. We're in the middle of Hobsonville. This is years ago. Construction sites everywhere. He goes, "Hey, there's some steel caps. Get the fuck out the car and go get a job." So,
whoa.
Him and my mum have been together 2 years at this point, right? So it's pretty crazy. I get out, I go get a job, and I ended up digging holes for Dempsey Wood as a labourer, like starting off my career in construction. And then my journey sort of spiraled from there, from civils, did that for a few years, digging holes, carried on, went through there, went out, and then I left civils, went and did a bit of residential building, 6 months of that, and I sort of realised, like, I don't know if this is for me. Got a job as an account manager at a furniture company because I wanted to get into the commercials world.
Right.
Went from there to being in charge of projects at the furniture company. Then I got headhunted by our main fit-out company to go over and work for them, who were doing fit-out and construction. Started working on projects like Sky City, Artes Centre. Like, bear in mind, at this time, I'm like 22. And like no idea what I'm up to. 22, figuring it out, realised this is what I love. This is my stuff. Stayed at that company for 2.5 years, left there, and then I went to another company, Fit Out Solutions, which was just started. Did 3.5 years there, worked my way up to sort of like a senior role, moved from there to Datum, and did a year there as a senior PM. And then, yeah, I had this feeling if there was no time, I was going to do it. If there was any time I was going to do it, it had to be now. I was like, it's going to just get progressively harder as my son gets older. And my partner Jess was like, don't do it. what are you talking about? She's like, what are you
Really?
doing? Yes, dude. She was like, look, I believe in you, but like, surely we just wait. Like, I'm on maternity leave. Like, you know, like, what are we going to do? I was going to take a year off. And I was like, nah, I'm doing it. She's like, I can't stop. You can. I was like, no way. I'm doing this. I'm in.
So I have a very similar story to how I started strategic planning as well.
Yeah. Tell me.
What happened was it was middle of COVID.
Yeah.
I think we were in about the second lockdown, give or take.
Oh, yeah.
It was November-ish, second lockdown. And the government's turning around and shutting the borders. So I'm sitting down there and I'm wondering, you can't import any meat.
Yeah.
Okay. Next day, I turn on the news and they're going, we need to keep the economy afloat, so we're going to release all these shelf-ready projects. I'm sitting down there going, none of this fucking makes any sense in my head.
Yeah.
So you want to shut the borders down, but you want to release all this construction work. So I'm just like, next day I went and resigned.
Really?
Yep. Snap. Just next day I said, here's my resignation. I had a 3-month notice period.
Yeah.
Resigned. It was November-ish, and then I started strategic planning Feb 21.
Just saw the gap. Was keen for it.
Bro, I was like, it was a no-brainer in my head. Like, it just worked in my head. You know what I mean?
Right? They're giving out all this work. Why would you not get involved?
Exactly. And I'm like, if I don't do it now, I'll probably never, ever start a company. So it's pretty similar, where it's like just overnight, you just decide, you're like,
That's it, right? Once it's in your head, and then like...
You can't get it out.
I remember I went to work and I was sitting and tossing and turning, and I was finishing up a project, and I remember I was just like, I can't do this. I have to go do this for me. This isn't going to work anymore.
Yep.
It's
and that's the thing though. Once you make that leap, then you find ways to make it work one way or another. Like you said, back to the will, back to the grid.
100%, man. Like we started when I started Build Interiors in February in 2023, we had one project and that was it. And one project that was a 14-day job. I didn't have any builders lined up. I had nothing. And, we smashed that job, and we've just grown ever since. And
Mate.
Just hungry for it,
Mate, absolutely. Hats off to you, man. Well
Thanks,
done.
man.
Well done. Sam, so word on the street is that there's a lot of tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yes?
100%.
Okay. What's been your experience dealing with tall poppy syndrome? Actually, let's start off with this, right? In your words, define what tall poppy syndrome is, and give me some examples of where you've actually dealt with it in your years of business, or 1 year in business.
To me, like tall poppy syndrome. You see someone coming up, they see someone rising, and for no apparent reason, they just want to take them out, right? It's seeing others succeed, and it's jealousy, right? Like that's what it comes back to. And New Zealand is terrible for it, right? You see people talk about it not only in construction. You see Israel Adesanya in the UFC talking about it. Everyone, it's bad here.
I agree.
I'm sure you've experienced it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, man. And, being 27 years old, starting a fit-out company in an industry that's had these guys that have been doing it for 10, 20 years with big wallets and all this stuff, like, we get it regularly, right? It's we do things a bit different. People don't like it. And I've definitely experienced in the last year some reservations. When we launched originally, we had a lot of designers come to me and sort of reach out and say, hey, I've actually been getting phone calls about saying not to work with you, that you're not that good.
Really?
Yeah.
No fucking
from our
way.
competitors, yeah.
So they've been told not to work with you.
Yeah. And
that's crazy,
more
man.
or less, like, yeah, so we had that challenge at the start, and then...
How'd you overcome it?
What I realized, right, like, and when I started my business, like, I never went out like being like, okay, well, I've worked with these people, I'm going to go for this. Like the big point of creating Build and what we wanted to achieve was like, we wanted to find independent operators and smaller businesses in different outlets and be like, hey man, I can service you. Like you don't need to have all the money in the world. Like we can still service you. So we just found them and found like-minded people and just did this. Like every day at the start, like, I was facing adversity of people saying, we don't have anything at the moment. When I knew like they were working with other fit out crowds, every day I went into the office and I was by myself. Like when I said the office, I was at home. I'd write 10 names down, 10 design companies. I'd Google that I loved what they were doing. It's something cool. And I just cold called everyone. And in terms of like every time that I came up with like, hey, this, like we've heard this and that, like who's actually like behind this company, what's going on here, and people just the rumor mill was firing, man. Like it was like I just was honest. I was like, well, this is me. I'm doing this. This is what I can deliver. my word is my bond. If I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And we were just fortunate some people gave us an opportunity. And the way we marketed that and promoted it was like no one had ever seen a fit out company do before. And then it just spiraled. People loved it. People liked seeing it, and people liked our energy. And we just had fun with it and found others that liked it too.
Because it can't be that difficult, right? All you've got to do is finish on time, under budget, and you keep winning more work.
You would think that, but everyone seems to be. Well, you've got like this constant battle in the industry, right? Like the age-old tale: go in low, hit them with a variation. It's so common.
Yeah, well, I mean that's yep.
Yeah,
it's a lot of companies out there that do that.
A lot of people doing that.
Bid at cost and rape and pillage it with variations.
Oh, exactly right.
Yeah.
And which we morally don't agree with. We're really upfront with the cost. The big key difference is I was like, man, like no one's explaining to designers early on, hey, like if your client's budget is $1 million, what you've drawn right there, that's 1.5. But if you change this and that, we can get it closer to $1 million and work together. Like essentially, and this was the pitch, right? Like I'll give you the magic pitch that got us through the times of what people are saying. I saw construction as a triangle, right?
Yep.
There's the client at the top. This is who wants the end result. Then you had the project manager and the construction company here, and then the designers here. And we were all working to serve the client, but we weren't working together. We were working against each other. At Build Interiors, we believe in a circle, man. At the end of the day, the client's needs and wants, we've got to work for. They've got to understand you can't have everything. You're never going to get it super cheap, super fast, and real high quality. Something's going to give.
Time, cost, quality.
Exactly, right? And then same as the designer. They've got to have the vision, right? I'm not a visionary by any means. If you ask me to draw you up a nice shop, I've built many, I would not know where to start. But I can tell you how to build one fast, efficiently, and what product is going to give you the best outcome. So we believe in that, like an early engagement, talking, communicating, and value engineering. So, I sort of gone on a tangent.
That's all right.
Like, I guess back to the point of like dealing with the adversity, we were honest. And I think that's sort of what really put us apart. Like just being real straight up, being real direct, and not being afraid to take risks. I guess another case of Tall Poppy.
Sorry, you go.
Of Tall Poppy is we were at an awards night, and I had a competitor make like a bit of a comment to me in front of a large crowd of people, and it was it didn't go down a great hit with myself, and it was just sort of a shot at me and what we were doing, and saying that there wasn't really space for us in the industry. And with that, what I did in that moment, to be honest, man, like your instant gut reaction as you fired up this fire in your belly, and you're upset, and you want to lash out. We walked away. I was with my team. We were at the award ceremony, and I just looked up and I looked at where we were, and I thought, shit, man, I don't care what anyone says. We're making it. The fact that we're in this room, we're doing something that's shaking this industry up.
Does that give you more drive?
Oh, 100%, man. I love it.
I find exactly the same thing. When that happens, I find myself more driven for the next couple of weeks. Like,
fire me up, man.
Yeah, fires me up. Like I've got chicken skin right now. just talking about it.
I love it. Like I said, when we started, we had all these people going around saying things about me personally, saying things about the company, and weren't sure. And that just it lit the fire in my belly to get us to where we are now.
Yeah. Can I ask you one more question though?
Yeah.
What advice would you give anybody that's dealing with tall poppy syndrome now?
Be grateful. I'd be happy. Every time someone comes and they want to try and knock me down, they just build me up higher. I would use that, fuel off that, take that fire. Just think, you're doing something right. If they're there talking about you, you're in their head. They've already lost. They're thinking about you instead of thinking about how they're going to grow their business and do the rest of this. If I'm in your head, I know it's over. So be grateful. It's a compliment at the end of the day, right? And that's
Fair
the
enough,
best way
bro.
to look at it.
Fair enough. I've got to agree with that. No, well said. Well said.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So, Sam, there's a lot of debate going around in the industry between onshore and offshore manufacturing of products for construction.
Yeah.
What's been your experience dealing with onshore and offshore? What do you guys use it as Build Interiors?
As Build Interiors, we're looking into it, right? Like we've dealt with clients that have imported offshore and that we've used like joinery bits and furniture and all the rest of it. And I think it's definitely got its place coming through. You can't deny the cost savings.
Yep.
There is the managing of the quality and things like that. Some places a hit, some places a miss. But equally, right, we could say we have that here locally, right? Like some people you source off it, it's great. There's the no-brainers. USG borrow, things like that. If there's a jib shortage or you can get them at a deal, why not import your own plasterboard?
Yep.
Where we're sort of looking as build interiors is we're looking at offshore joinery fabrication and upholstery and things like that as an option. It's definitely something I think that has a place.
Right.
I think we're not opposed to working with people that are doing it and all the rest. I just think...
But then it's also factoring the time for shipment. Because let's say you're running a 3-month fit-out project.
Yeah.
If your lead time on a product offshore is 3 months.
Exactly, right?
Your choice is simple then, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It all depends, right? Like our fit-outs sometimes are 4 weeks, right? 3 to 4 weeks. On those ones, you're not going to offshore manufacture, right? And then you're not going to risk holding a whole bunch of offshore products here because the market's too fluid. So I think it has its place. I think if you can do it well and you have the lead time, go for it. Like if you've got the time to go over there, explore.
Yep.
But I think there's a lot of risk. I'm quite risk averse. I say that.
Sorry, say that again?
No, I'm not risk adverse.
You're not, bro.
No, I'm not at all.
No.
With this
says the guy who quit his full-time job when he was 26 with no other income and said, I'll start a construction company.
Yeah,
Great.
This is true. I can't claim to be risk averse.
I'm risk averse. Yeah, I totally believe that.
Yeah. I think it's got its place. I think as build interiors, we're going to get into looking at it and seeing what we can import. There's the laws as well, right? Like
so tell me the main primary reason you'd go offshore. Would it be cost?
Cost saving. To be able to offer a better cost to customers here, man. Like booth seats are the number one, right? Like we do a lot of hospitality. Build like specializes in hospitality and retail. That's our bread and butter. We've done some awesome projects. We recently we lost a job to a company that was offshore fabricating the joinery, and it was quite interesting. The client actually went, "Okay, cool. I'll take the extra 6 weeks of fit out for the cost of offshore fabrication."
Wow, interesting.
If you've got a good and then what it made me think is like if you've got a good rent-free period, right, with your landlord, then what is it to you, right? It's overall you're saving costs. So we checked out the quality, had a little look, and talked to the client, saw how it went together, and actually asked to talk to the shop fitter and just had a chat with him. And I was like, hey man, like how do you find doing it? So it's a mixed bag. When I've done it, I've only done it with furniture and loose items so far. I haven't actually done it with anything like joinery-wise to put in, but there's some no-brainers, man, like tables.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like why would we manufacture tables here locally? No one's doing it. Harrows aren't doing it. Santesi aren't doing it. Come on, like they're mass manufacturing. What are your thoughts?
I'm in a position where I'm even getting... Okay, so I've set up a company in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So I don't manufacture products as such.
Yeah.
What am I offering to the industry is controls and planning service.
Yeah.
Right? So my biggest limitation comes down to how much time I've got available.
100%.
Okay, yeah. So you're lucky you've set yourself up with a great team around you. I'm still working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's a slower process because I've got to find the right skilled person, right? Finding that person in New Zealand has been extremely difficult. And even if I find the right person, the cost of that person is exorbitant that me as a small company, I don't want to take that risk. It's plain and simple.
100%.
I'm risk averse.
Says the guy that quit his job.
In the middle of COVID. That's calculated. That's a very calculated risk, right?
Yeah.
But then now set up a company in Malaysia where I'm slowly building up a team of planners.
Yeah.
So I've already gone offshore.
I think the offshore, like in that sense, it's a no-brainer, man. Like,
See, I mean, I'll tell you the benefits that I've already seen.
Yeah,
right?
Tell me.
I want the guy to work on a Saturday because I have something critical and there's shit going on. There's too much work.
Yeah.
He just goes, yep, no problem. No complaints, nothing. No, it's just the attitude's completely different for me. I understand we were talking about manufacturing. Now I'm talking about people, but it's the delivery I get, the quality I get. You find the right person offshore, mate, they will bend over backwards to deliver for you. I mean, in the correct country.
I think you're right. And that's a no-brainer. And that, like, it's quite funny, man. Like, after we sort of caught up, and I hadn't told you already, we actually have one person working offshore for us, but he's an expat in Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
And I was thinking about what you were saying, like the offshore, what it allows for us is he's from the New Zealand market. I know he knows what he's doing. But it gives us more hours, right? Now we're trading 3 hours longer than everyone else. My quotes
Yep.
are still getting done and sent out.
Yep.
I can only imagine the benefits that you have, the work ethic of, if you look at the work ethic of the guys that come here and that manage to get a visa and make it here, it's insane.
It is insane.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Like,
yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is outrageous. Like, and I can only imagine setting up a company where they're in their home country and get to provide those benefits and actually see the benefits directly with their families. Oh, I'd set them apart from the rest.
Yeah, mate, 100%. I've got to agree with you there. See, you know, so I'm just going, I might as well just get offshore help. And like you said, so when business hours clock off at 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
It's 11 p.m. in Malaysia by the time business hours end. So it's 11 p.m. in New Zealand when it's about 5 p.m. in Malaysia, I think. Something like that.
Yeah.
So I know not to call my guy after 11 p.m. So I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. At least you know.
Yeah, so it's like waking up to 11. And that just works perfectly for me.
Mate, it works well because owning your own business, you're always working, right? Like,
yeah, mate.
Someone
Yeah.
will call you, and it doesn't matter. But you can't call your guys. I can't go calling my guys at 6 p.m. on a Friday. Here, they're like, Sam, you're a lunatic. But I think having that offshore is a no-brainer, man.
The support, yeah. 100%.
I think we need to look at it. We need to refine how it's done. I think the process needs to, because that's the one thing with it, right? I don't quite know the process of how hard it is to actually set up an offshore.
Mate, I've been through it. It can be a little tricky, but there are people out there that can help you. Good people.
But the main thing is you keep going back to one word, right? Like that we keep circling, even on all our talk points, is people. And that's what it comes down to, though, right? It's the people.
Yeah.
If you find good people, onshore, offshore, your business will succeed.
100%, mate.
And that's where, like, and you said right, like, I'm fortunate. Build, we have an amazing team. We've got 11 people in the office, man. And, like, right now we've got 20 contractors of building labor on site. We've got awesome people. But if I can find even better people that are going to work just as hard, if not harder, alongside them, where am I going to be in another 12 months?
Mate, I'll watch that space for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And same goes for you. Like, you're at the start of your offshore journey. I'm intrigued. There's an electrical company that we deal with. Their whole QS department, they've got 25 QSs in the Philippines.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I love that you do exactly.
Can we give him a shout out?
Shout out
to Aaron,
Aaron
Dempsey from Grammar Electrical.
My man.
My man.
He's killing it, man. I get a quote back.
You said electrical contractor with 25 people offshore and knew exactly who you're talking about, bro. Exactly.
He's doing awesome things.
He's doing amazing things.
You know,
good on him.
He's the first in that space to sort of go out and do it. And like, you know, I was with him at the weekend and talking to him, and it's like similar to you, amazing experience. And it's something that if we can figure out a way to do it, I'm definitely not opposed. I think it's the way of the future, really.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Sam, what trends do you believe in terms of interior design is going to revolutionize the fit-out industry? What does the future look like?
It's hard to say. Like, it's definitely something that we look at, like in trends. Like, we see a lot of drawings, right? We see a lot of designers locally, a lot in Australia that we deal with a lot of Australian partners as build. And there's definitely a running theme that everyone is revolutionizing, right? Like, last year was the year of textured paint and render. It's everywhere, right? You love it. The stucco finish, it gives you that concrete look. It's real cool. This year, I'm seeing so much more innovation in the space of how people are using tiles.
Oh, yeah.
Which is funny, right? Because you think of tiles, it's like an old school sort of thing. But like recently, we just did a nightclub and we did a curved ceiling feature and tiled the whole thing with RGB LEDs all the way around it and stuff. And it was sick. And we're seeing a lot of drawings that are using curves, tile, and just different ways of interacting, like to create that sort of look with I suppose what the designers are going for is a look and feel with the patron. I definitely think spaces are becoming more sort of like, we're in a changing world, right? Like, the digital age is insane.
Oh, mate, we are on the edge of abundance today.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
You think it, we're gonna try to do it, right? It's wild. Like, I think the use of screens, LED projection, LED is everywhere. Like, things that people are doing with neon and stuff now, it's unreal. Like, 10 years ago, we never would have seen that. Like, it's just an age of development. Like, I think, you know, black and steel had its time in interior design and its place in the market. You had veneer finishes that were were quite big for a while in the
Yep.
retail space.
I remember
Now-
the brick veneer.
Yeah. Now veneer's like huge in the hospo industry, right? You go into a bar and restaurant, they've got this sick wood grain paneling on the walls, cool moldings, but it's like fashion. I think lots of things that were cool back in the day are coming back in, right?
Interesting.
You look at that new building, the Emerald building.
I don't know where that
on the
is.
corner of Ponsonby.
Right.
That huge new apartment black and emerald tiles.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's insane, but it gives you that old school sort of look and feel.
Yeah.
I think old is new, and a big thing I think people are trying to be more creative with how they save cost. Like I think a lot of it will circle back to cost, man. We're in a recession, like whether we like it or not, right?
Are we?
I think for some people they definitely feel it.
Well, still arguable. I go to every single shopping mall and it's filled with people buying shit that they don't really need. So I constantly question whether we're in a recession, but that's just me anyways. Never mind.
But we're in an age of a recession, but we're also, it's so accessible to get lay-by, afterpay, all this stuff.
True.
That's why mall and things are busy. But you see, I look at it like the big brands. There's not as many big brands popping up stores, right?
Interesting. Yeah.
But
IKEA's coming, I heard.
IKEA is coming. That's out by Sylvia Park. I don't know who's building it, but IKEA, if you want a fit out company, build interiors.
There you go, mate. Yo. Love that.
I will sort you out.
Yeah.
But
go on IKEA. IKEA, get build interiors
Yeah,
to build it, mate.
there you go.
That's it.
I think, yeah, I think they're, but then arguably, right, like I built a construction company in 12 months where people said there was a recession, there was all these times, the election, who knows what's going on. I think it's what you make it.
Yeah, 100%. Comes back to what? The two words you said, will and grit, mate.
100%. If you want to live your life a certain way, you're going to find the way to get that money. If you don't, and you're not that keen, you're going to feel the recession. You're going to be worried. I don't dabble in residential. I don't talk about property because it's not my genre, and I'm not an expert in it. But I know that there's its own struggles in that area. So the commercial space is a good place to be.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, I've digressed heavily.
Yeah, we both have. That's okay.
Extremely.
Yeah.
But coming back to interior design trends, I think there's a new age. Like there's a new age of designers and there's a new age of fit out companies, man. Like they come through and the creativity is insane. Like I'm trying to think off the cuff, like some of the cool stuff that we've seen lately. Like just, yeah, a lot of curve. The way that people are doing booth seats are completely different. The hospo game's just shaking up. Like the whole dining is not becoming like a restaurant where you go in and it's just about the food anymore. Like, yeah, the food's important, right? But people want to go somewhere. It all comes back to the simple thing, bro. The age of Instagram, right?
Oh, yeah.
If it doesn't look cool in a photo, it doesn't
not
matter.
Cool.
No, it's not cool.
But because that is how we communicate, though. It is through pictures and short form video.
100%, right?
Why do you think I'm doing this?
Yeah, look at us. Right
look
now,
at us. Why do you think we're doing this?
Yeah. Why am I doing billboards?
Oh, you doing billboards?
Yeah. So, and like, I haven't seen another fit out company ever do a billboard. We launched, and that was one of my biggest goals. We did billboards with.
I know where you have a billboard. Shit, I've actually seen your billboard.
Which one?
The one on K Road. No. So you come down Newton Road when you're going up Newton Road.
Yeah.
Is it just off on the way to Parnell, I suppose?
Yeah.
There's a board near the parking lot.
That one down there, yeah. That was on our latest one, our Christmas run. We had on that one, our slogan for the Christmas campaign was done by Christmas, should have called us. It was good.
That's creative.
Yeah. Original one was let us do it so we don't have to fix it.
You crack me up, bro. This is awesome.
Yeah, fuck it. We're just trying to be different, right? And have fun with it. But I think, like at the end of the day, it comes down to that, right? You need to be able to picture it. And I think designers are getting more creative. The way that we're doing like displays and things are not just about how the food is going to look on the plate, but how's the table and the overall background going to look. And they're just pushing those limits.
Question is it Instagrammable, right?
Yeah, that's all.
Is it Instagrammable? Are you guys ready for that change as build engineers?
Oh, we're set, man. Like, they're essentially like we want to be part of that change. We want to be at the forefront. We want to work with the designers. And, you know, I want you to have an idea that's like, man, can this LED screen be lit up and moving like this? And we're like, we'll figure a way to build it. We're ready to go into that Instagrammable look era, I suppose, what you're calling, how things are going to look and feel. We're set up that we have specialists, right? Like, I didn't build the team just willy-nilly. Like, I went and found people that not only love what they do, but are specialists at what they're doing. Like we're building Silkiotu movie theaters at the moment right now. You know, I built one myself at a previous company in Ponsonby. Like, there's not many people that are brave enough to build a movie theater. It's a specialist skill. And we want guys that are like, yeah, I'm ready. I can do it. We want to be at the forefront of the Instagrammable era.
There you go, mate. And I'm sure you'll get there.
Thanks,
with
man.
that vision and the skilled people around you. No doubt you'll get there.
I appreciate
best
it.
of luck, bro.
Thanks, man.
Sam, you mentioned earlier that you're passionate about mental health
Yeah.
and Build Interior sponsors a mental health charity.
Yeah.
Tell me, where does that passion come from?
So, like, I guess with my background, man, like, and I speak openly, right? Like, when I do a bit of public talking, I launched this company at 26, but it was never always rosy, like, heading into that. Like, I was kicked out of 8 schools when I was growing up.
You were the problem child.
I was a problem child.
Right.
And not many people understood me. I didn't really understand myself, and it wasn't until, like, later years where I sort of figured out what was going on with me, that I had my own stuff that I had never dealt with and I was upset about, and that's why I was acting out. And once I dealt with that and I realized, you know, I had someone that believed in me, I was able to act and supported me, I actually excelled, right, and succeeded. And I think, you know, mental health is general. We need to do more and speak more openly. Men's mental health is one of those things that, like, we really need to do something now. In 2020, I actually had, like, a co-worker that had passed away, and I'd
my condolences, man.
Yeah, and I was there when the body was found and stuff. So
Oh, really?
yeah, man, that really December 2020. Yeah, so that was a huge moment for me, right? Like,
Can I ask what happened?
He,
You don't need to.
he'd taken his own life,
Oh,
and
mate, it just breaks my heart, right? The number of people in construction
it's awful, man.
is ridiculous. It's just, did you know, statistically, construction is the one industry that has the most amount of suicides and the most amount of divorces in comparison to any other industry?
I found all this information after, and it's
insane.
It's crazy, and we don't talk about it enough.
We don't, and the amount of stress we put on our people is just fucking ridiculous.
It's hard, man. It's hard. You know, like, I remember times when I was coming up and trying to prove myself, like, and even still now, like, where the workload and the projects and the delivery, it's crippling. You know, I hit burnout in a previous role not long ago, and I just couldn't get out of bed one day. I was so stressed with everything going on, I just couldn't get out of my bed, and my partner just sat with me, and I just sat there all day long, and I just had a bit of water, and that was it, and I didn't really talk.
Bro, I pretty much reached burnout early last year.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to have met Drew, who you're potentially going to meet soon.
Yeah.
Which is great. The guy literally saved my life.
Man, that's awesome.
Like, he gave me, how do I explain what he did for me? He helped me slow things down so I could go faster.
I like that.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
I weirdly completely understand
Exactly what I'm saying?
exactly what you're saying. I feel like some people might not, but I think, yeah.
So it's like literally all I had to do is I had to slow my entire thought pattern down and actually figure out the bigger strategy ahead of me. But I needed structured thinking to do that. It's all in here, bro. If Drew wasn't there, I was confident I was heading to some sort of chronic illness.
Really?
Guaranteed. Like Drew will tell you that bro, you were heading. He's like, because there were times when Drew would jump on the call and I'd be like, fuck, bro, I just don't want to talk to you now. Like, hey, you know, like literally straight up, I had no energy, I had nothing, I was fucking burnt. Too many projects on the go, solving problems consistently. It's like, fuck, I know exactly what you're saying when you know, just sitting down, you want to do nothing.
You want to do nothing. It's a lot of energy out, man. It's all this energy out, and if you know, someone like myself, I think we're really similar in the sense my brain's always going.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a hamster wheel that's non-stop, right? I'm thinking about things that are like so far down the line, and I can't stop. I'm renowned for, like, I'm better at it now, but I used to be that guy. I'd wake up at 1 a.m. and I couldn't sleep because I had an idea, and I'd have to email people, and I'm emailing people, and I realized that that's not right. Like, that's not healthy. It's arguably done me well in the sense that I've got a lot done.
Yeah, man, you've got a business, you've got a company going, it's all great, but at what cost, right?
Exactly, 100%. So we, as Build Interiors in our first year, I was adamant that I wanted to do something to give back. A friend of mine, Ben, owns BFT Takapuna.
Oh, yeah.
And in working with them and their...
Do you go to BFT?
I don't go to BFT, but...
Oh, yeah?
I dabble. Sometimes I go in. I do CrossFit myself, but I love Ben's gym. And
I'm part of the F45 cult.
Are you an F45er?
I'm an F45er.
Yeah, I love that, man. I used to be an F45 coach back in the day.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, man. Part-time while I was doing this stuff. But yeah. So Ben's got that, and then we teamed up with these guys, Tai Tupo and the guys at the Last Chance Project. And they run an awesome thing, man, where Ben introduced me to them, and they do like free mental health for men all around New Zealand. Like, you can get on a call, you call them from wherever in New Zealand, you're like, hey bro, I'm in a dark place, I need someone here, and they'll get on a plane and fly to you.
Wow.
It's sick. It's real sick. So we did a thing called Walk a Mile with Me for them in April last year, and we're doing it again this year. And it was pretty much like, it was a non-stop circuit around a field of just like it was you against you in the mid-space, and you had all your brothers, these people around you, and the camaraderie that came with it, and openly sitting around talking. They actually... Can
you share the details so we can put it in the video with you down below?
I'll put all the details.
For anybody that needs it?
100%. We'll put the Last Chance Projects details and everyone. That'd be awesome for them. But I think there's those guys, there's mates in construction, there's so many resources, but I think the problem we have in New Zealand is like, it's still stigmatized, right? People are only talking about it because sometimes it's popular in the conversation, but are we really like catching up with their mates talking about it? I don't know, man. For me, it's a very important thing for me. Not only my goals, my mental health, my check-ins. I'm very fortunate. My best friend and me check in 7:30 a.m. every Monday. We check in, sit down with each other, look at our goals, how we're feeling about life and everything, and have that check-in. But there's a lot of guys that don't, and I think it's hard. Like, we're in an industry that has huge pressures, you know?
Our industry is brutal.
It's ruthless, right?
Yeah, mate. Time frames, deadlines, you're 1 day late, how much money are you losing? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Liquidated damages. It's fucking crazy. Fixed price contracts, time pressure, cost pressure. Fuck. It just keeps going on and on.
Exactly, right? It comes all the way down from the site manager to the GM. Everyone has this pressure that we're feeling that's crippling. But, like, I think we need to talk about it and share that with each other. And, like, don't do it because it's the on-trend thing to do. Do it because, man, like, you actually care. I think that's a big thing, right? You're finding someone that listens and you realize, like, hey, and this is why I'm real excited to meet Drew, you know, like, to be able to connect with someone like that. You're not the only person to say that he has that. Is game changer, right? Like,
oh, mate, yeah, he's done wonders for me. Like literally just, I mean, both of us now work together as well, which is cool.
Awesome.
We're finding ways to work together.
Yeah.
Because technically, what he did for me, I'm just saying, every construction project needs it.
It does.
It's like a fucking no-brainer in my head. It's just going, how do you get your people working well together? The minute you have that, you're not having as many problems. You know, you're not working in silos all the time. You know, you're how many times have you seen this in a construction company, right? This is where half the stresses come from, or stressors, as Drew would call them. Is, you know, your quantity surveyors won't talk to the planners, won't talk to the guys on site, won't talk to the designers, right? They want to do their own thing. The planners will do their own thing and come up with a program that nobody will fucking follow, right? Because the quantity survey is done takeoffs and nobody fucking ever sees. And then the construction guy's going, that's all bullshit. I know how to fucking build.
Exactly. And it comes back to the overarching thing again. It's all about people.
It is 100%.
So, like, look after your people, look after yourselves, and then, like, you know, work together, collaborate, find people.
But here's the thing, that's what Drew does really, really well, is he builds solid fucking teams. So why wouldn't you get him in early and get everybody engaged together, working together really, really well from the beginning? I'm just saying that's a no-brainer in my head.
Oh, it's logical. Why would you not?
It's completely logical. And you know, so what happens is I go in and see all these big stress projects, and I'm all the delayed projects, and I feel the tension. I feel normally I give Drew a call and I'll be like, yo, bro, you kind of need to be there. Give these guys a call. Yep. So it's been Ooh, going all right. Yeah.
No.
I mean, I wish I didn't have to make that call and people engaged them up front. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's good. And I hope that's the way the world's turning, though. I think it is. Like, yeah, I know it's, like I'm saying, like, we shouldn't just talk about it because it's a hot topic, but at least we're talking about it.
Yeah. And then that's a really good thing, right? At least we're having an open, honest conversation about, and I'm no less of a man sitting here and saying I was on my way to having chronic illness about a year ago.
Exactly,
which
right.
is a true story. And my marriage almost ended too. So it wasn't great.
Yeah.
It was not great.
Relationships and business and construction is definitely a testing time.
Oh, fuck yeah. In construction, more so than anything else.
100%.
Yeah.
But, I think as Build, man, we want to do our part. And
good on you, bro. Well done.
I appreciate it, man. We're going to work with these guys in this charity this year, and we're keen to do some other stuff. So if there is anyone that's looking for a sponsor or something and they're doing something cool in that space, then please feel free to reach out to us. And yeah, like our mid-year wellness event, like that's a prime example, right? Like where we do things differently. Like instead of like, the typical construction mid-year booze up, last year we did a mid-year wellness event for all the designers that we work with. We hosted an event at Basecamp Yoga and just had an hour and a half, like a yoga event, and just like chilled out, zenned out. And it was sponsored by Lululemon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You got Lululemon to sponsor it.
Yeah.
Sick, bro.
We did a project for them actually as well.
Nice.
So it was so that was
got some free gear?
Yeah. Everyone got given a little goodie bag and some more mighties as they left. But
Jealous.
just doing stuff like that, that's like,
good on you, bro.
Yeah.
Am I getting an invite to your mid-year wellness event this
You
year?
will be coming this year. We're going bigger and better. Even
Epic.
Yeah, sweet.
Nah, hey, thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate all your insights, your open, honest conversation. It means a lot to me.
Nah, thanks, man. I appreciate you having me.
Cheers, bro.
Easy.